Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today I want to talk about the repo market. Something very, very strange is happening in the US market, and which eventually means the world market. But I need to explain something very complicated in a very simple way. Okay, so let's say I need money for gas. Okay, I need gas to get to work, so I need money to get gas so I can go somewhere and pick up money, and so I don't have money, and so what happens as a result is I ask a friend of mine, and my friend says, okay, I'll give you $100, but what do you have that you can give me while you keep my $100? And when I want it back, instead of the normal 102, which is the 2% rate, which is the normal rate, I want $110 back, which is the 10% rate, which is going on right now. Okay, just follow along with me. Now, I don't have gas, but I can go somewhere and get some money. A friend of mine is saying you have to give me $110 back, but in the meantime, is there anything at your house you can give me that I can maybe sell for $100? So this guy comes to my house and he finds some boxes of cereals, maybe 30 boxes of cereal, and says, okay, I'll take these 30 boxes of cereal. I think that's, kind of like $100. Okay, I'm okay with that. But now imagine that a person comes to my house and he finds these cereal boxes. But these cereal boxes are like 10 years old. I mean, they are old. They have like no value left. I mean, they had a value at one time, but now it's like, they're not like 1 year old or 2 year old. This is cereal that's 15 years old. No one can eat this. No one likes this. It's almost like junk in a sense from a money perspective. And so I'm like, I'm not sure if I want to give you the $100. And so now there are banks out there, commercial banks like Lehman Brothers, like JP Morgan. They need money every night. This is just money that's borrowed during the night. Billions and billions of dollars that they need for the night, that they can, kind of like that guy that needed gas, go to the place, pick up the money, except it's not a one-day thing. It takes time. And they need this money, and then they pay this money back in interest. So what has happened all of a sudden is this. Fed adds $110 billion to the financial system in latest transaction. The federal government. Because you know what? If my cereal box is not worth anything anymore, and no one is willing to give me the $100 I need to go to get the money from the other side, well, this bank is not willing to give me money because they don't like my cereal boxes because they're too old, meaning instead of cereal boxes, it would be bonds, securities, real estate, other assets. Okay, so you get the idea. And so all the banks are like, they step back. They're like, oh, we're not really going to help you out because we don't really like what you have. And so then the federal government comes in, and the federal government says, okay, fine, we'll loan you because you are a big company. Your name is JP Morgan and Lehman Brothers. Even the other people are not trusting you. We'll trust you, but you have to give us back not the normal 2%, but you have to give us back 10% interest rate. Okay. This is happening. Money is right now being injected into the U.S. financial system by billions of dollars overnight every single day. And this is going to happen till mid-October. Okay? So just watch what I'm saying here. Shadow banks could be playing a role in repo market drama, economists say. Okay? Shadow banks are basically not banks. They are institutions that lend money that are not banks. They lend money, but they're not banks. Okay? Fed's repo market bailout is a sign of deeper problems. Now, why is it calling it a bailout? This is very important. Why is it 10%? This is also very important. See, the interest rate goes up because of one simple rule in this current Riba system. In the Riba system, interest rates go up when the risk goes up. Because no one else has the money. There are two ways to look at this, okay? Very, very important to follow what I'm saying. Remember the example I gave of cereal? Now let's say that I need money to put gas in my car to go over there and pick up the money. And I say, look, you can have my cereal boxes, and you say your cereal boxes are really worth nothing. Therefore, I'm not going to give you the $100. Is that what's really happening? Or is it that you yourself actually don't have the $100? And because you don't have the $100, you're just making an excuse. You're saying, oh, that piece of real estate land? Oh, those bonds and those securities and those stocks? Oh, no, I don't trust that. Because, and you're not willing to put money and give money to your fellow bankers because your own banks are in trouble. And so what has to happen as a result? As a result, what has to happen is the federal government has to step in and inject money by billions and billions and billions of dollars, increasing the balance sheet, okay? And so the Fed's repo market bailout is a sign of deeper problems that are getting worse over time. We're getting closer to a financial collapse. Very close. The Fed pumps another 100 billion. This is for overnight. One night. Just for one night, they put this much money into the banking world, into the financial world, and then the next night, this is just transactions that happen at night, okay? The Fed pumps another 110 billion into markets as investor demands surge. So what is happening is banks need money, but other banks are not willing to give them money because of two reasons. Number one, they don't trust them because JP Morgan and Lehman Brothers and all the other Fannie Mae and the other big banks, they've all lost their respect because of the financial crisis that happened in 2007. But there's another bigger reason, and that is that they don't actually have the money, and so they're like, oh, just take from the Federal Reserve. Now, see, going to the Federal Reserve is a humiliating thing in the world of the banks, right? It's like the last place you go is to the Federal Reserve. And now what the Federal Reserve is doing is just injecting the money itself. Just so you understand, okay? The Fed will need to grow its balance sheet permanently, Morgan Stanley. Meaning JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley is saying that the balance sheet, instead of being at 3 trillion or whatever it is right now, it's going to have to increase. The debt is going to have to increase. And this is the problem with the Riba system, that it eventually leads to a collapse because of debt, that it is no longer practical even to think about the fact we're ever going to pay this. And then the whole purpose of why you have money goes down the drain. You have money, so you have value. But if you're going to have a debt you can't even pay, then all that value that had value is no longer going to have value. Because, you know, if I give somebody $10, that $10, if in the Riba system, right, I say give me back 110. I know $10 is easy. I give somebody $100 and I say give me back $10 more. He gives me $110. It's practical. It can be done. I give him $1,000. It still can be done. $10,000. It's a big business. Still can be done. 100,000, a million, 10 billion, a billion, a big business. Google, you give Google $1 billion, you can expect money to come back in interest. I'm talking about the interest system. But then you get to 10 billion, 50 billion.
According to Sebeck, a system of interest is a collective set of...
Sorry about this. My phone heard the word Google and started spying on me. Okay, so 10 billion, 50 billion, trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion, right? Then at one point you give somebody some money, somebody who has who's making $3,000 for the month, you give him $300,000 loan. Your loan has become worthless in a sense that it's never going to be paid. And so for the reason that you would give someone loan in the Riba system, which is that you get back money more, well, Everyone is so greedy that everybody wants to make more money that eventually no one makes more money because you keep lending to the point that it's not going to pay you back, right? And so this is what's happening in this system. The balance sheet has to be increased permanently. It's not good news. Fed's repo market troubles suggest something very wrong with the financial system. Repo meltdown shows budget deficit has limits. Ballooning treasury auctions have placed a heavy burden on the financial system. Right now, it is almost universal. All the economists, they're trying to defend it on TV, trying to say, we were expecting this, and this was expected, and the Fed is going to inject money because people just paid their taxes and people just did this, and so now we have to inject this money just to hold them off and all these things. But in the end of the day, you got more debt, more problems. It's no different for an institution or a country than it is for an individual. If your debt is so much, you have to pay a debt of $10,000 a month and you only make $3,000, well, that money has lost its value. And this is what the Riba system does. The Riba system creates a debt to the point that all of the money in the system loses its value because none of it's going to be paid. The Fed pumps another $75 billion, this is for one night, into the financial markets, continuing capital injection plan. Fed pumps another $75 billion into markets and says more cash is on the way. They're going to do this till October. So what has happened and what is happening is extremely, extremely important to understand and extremely telling of Allah's great hikmah, His absolute hikmah, His wisdom beyond human imagination. For all the human thinkers and all the human planners and all the human thoughts, right? Here it is, the Riba system playing out just as Quran said it would play out. It would, yamhaqullahu riba. Allah will destroy riba. The system of riba will destroy, and will destroy lives, will destroy companies, will destroy countries, will destroy people. Riba is a system in which you create so much debt that the whole money system loses its value, right? And that's where we're headed right now. And with what agendas this is being done, it's very, very interesting because remember, according to the Quran, all of the Jewish community, the Zionists, not Jewish, the Zionists are going to go back to Israel. What will make American Jews, American Zionists, to go back to Israel? Well, one big, very big reason would be a financial collapse. And a financial collapse means we have to be ready to live and learn to live off-grid. I'll end here today, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Make sure to subscribe today and make sure you like and make sure you leave your comments and ideas. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
أشهد أن لا